You know, this is why I love the world of action figures and toy collecting, because you never know what's coming next. In the same week where I bought a NECA Leatherface, a horror icon, I also got this wonderful, beautiful art piece of a Hindu god or deity in Ganesha. And it's just weird. Those things really, and they could sit on my shelf and I could be totally weird and have them in their own universe, or I could have a beautiful display of each. You just never know what's coming next. But let's take a look at if he's worth it. If you're on the fence, I'm here to help you get off that fence. There's a lot to like, with a few things I dislike. Find out next what those are. Toy Games. Toy Games! That's you and me, baby! Toy Games! I can't take it anymore! It's Toy Games!
So anyways, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
I think the best way to kind of do this review or discussion is just kind of work backwards here. I mean, this is ideally how I think most of us will pose this, as this looks exactly like any image of Ganesha minus the different colors he's in. It's picture perfect. And this is a toy. Listen, a lot of toys we never asked for, and then we see them and then we buy them. I never asked for, Miss Piggy. So the whole notion of, well, it's not for me, it's not needed, this and that, I get that. I get it. I understand it. I just wanted this as, it's just downright beautiful. And I'm fine with just plunking this in my DTOF, turning a nice light on, and looking at this dude before I go to bed. And his purpose is to give you good luck and help break through barriers in your life and all that good stuff. So if you're like me and you're buying it just for this, you will be more than pleased. And at a $70 price point, I think it's right on the border of being too expensive for everything here. And you get a lot of accessories, a lot of doohickeys. I think it's right there of being fair. I always would prefer things to be $10 cheaper, so I think at $60 it would be downright amazing. 70 is straddling that line. I mean, heck, Mezco just sold a frog today in a tuxedo for $112. So that's in the eye of the beholder sort of thing. Let me now get him off his little seat, which is beautiful. We'll take a look at that. Everything is extremely well painted, extremely well sculpted. This has a nice weight to it. So he's a big boy. This isn't going to slide around. Really looks brass. Black washes on there. Looks fantastic. Let's now look at Ganesha just standing still. So the next thing, obviously, you're going to be wondering is, well, how does he articulate? And my thing is this. And I know this is the excuse that most of us people that don't care about articulation will bring up. We all say, I don't need everything to move like Spider-Man. And I know that's the tried and true excuse, but that's what I'm going to use here. I needed him to be able to sit down in that folded leg seated position. And thankfully he can. Nothing here is double jointed. You're not going to have him fight. This is actually really nice. The Valiant Knight. You're not going to have him fight a knight in some dynamic face-off. Now, I'm going to strip some of this off. And I do think if you're a customizer and you pop and swap with other pieces from Four Horsemen, I think there's a ton of fun in that regard. But just as is, just out of the box, this figure, you're not going to get a lot of mileage as far as playing with them, And when I say play with them, I ideally, I mean put them in a lot of dynamic poses, doing, fun, weird things. That's not what this is for. So if single joints bug you, it's not going to be for you. this little, I'm not going to call it a helmet. I'm sure that's not what it is. Also gorgeous. That pops right off. So let me strip him down. Everything he comes with is fully detailed, and I will go over that as well. Like I said, single joints. You have to put them other two arms in right off the bat. I will say this. I could probably work this out with some ease. I heated it up, popped it in there. It doesn't feel like, look at that one popped out, and that is one of my gripes immediately. Could be just a me thing. I don't think it is though. I've bought Four Horsemen stuff from day one, especially the Legions line. I'm gonna heat it up again, pop it in there again. Sometimes these pegs, just in my opinion, are a little too big or too small, vice versa, and things never stay in. I think for a character who's meant to have four arms, they should have been the ones to get these in there, because these arms don't have that issue at all. So that back arm should feel like that front arm. If this is a character known for four arms, should have been their responsibility to have this in and not mine. So right off the bat, I hate that. I hate the feeling. It was, who was the first? The first figure Obscura was Krampus, and his tail, for the life of me, would never stay in. Speaking of tail, he does not have one. This plugs in the back like the wings. That's gripe number one. Gripe number two, while we're at it, I might as well just freestyle and talk. You know, I usually just do discussions. I don't typically do reviews in the typical format of other reviewers. So first time here, if you don't mind subscribing or liking, this is how it goes. Now this trunk, you know, you can see the paint. And once you move that, it's not going to be seamless. And this is on a bendy. And you get two trunks. One has a hard bend. One is straight. So what you're telling me is, I don't know, are you telling me the bend really doesn't work? What I'm saying is I would prefer if this was bendy throughout. This way, when you turn the trunk, it doesn't break up that paint line. You know what I mean? That's a minor gripe. The arms are a little bit more of a bigger deal, an issue. Other than that, though, you know, and that's kind of a big thing. You don't want arms popping out. Other than that, I don't have really any gripes. I'm going to strip this jewelry off, like off his chest, and show you what's going on underneath here, because it's kind of interesting. I've been asking for fat guy stuff forever. Hasbro's Blob is one of my favorite toys in my collection because the chubbiness of that guy makes him so unique. This screams Rocksteady to me, or Buddha. Customizers are going to have a field day with this guy. Now, for the same gripe I just said about them arms maybe being socketed in really nice, the fact that they do come out or aren't in to begin with really lends itself to customizers. So that's a double-edged sword situation. These all come off as well. All this stuff could strip off. The pants, I don't feel comfortable taking the pants off and maybe breaking a seam or something, but obviously you could take them off. This is a very unique buck. However, he's not that big. I'm going to bring in another Legion there, and I'll bring in another figure Obscura there. The Wukong, great figure as well. Also has some minor issues, but those issues kind of persist. It's not a huge deal. It doesn't feel like cheap or QC issues or anything like that. It's just the way it's designed, I guess, with the arms. The head has articulated ears. I think that's to move in place so all that jewelry fits on perfectly. There was actually one that I didn't slather on here. Slap on, slather. You know, basic articulation for Legions. If this is your first time seeing a Legions figure, that's sort of the Achilles heel, is articulation. I'm pretty okay with it because I love the sculpts and I'm a McFarlane fan. I'm already used to, you know, articulation not being as much as, say, a Hasbro, more of a Legend. You know, you get no bicep swivel, but what you do get is a beautiful looking arm that's seamless and looks really good. Get that head back on there. What's that other elephant's name? Babu? I don't know. You can really get an oddball character. I could see customizers really going crazy with this. Am I experiencing some? I would say that my ankle is kind of loose there, which for a big, heavy character is an issue. Good thing he's going to sit down. I don't like that either. This should feel a little tighter. Let me kit him out again. Let me show you some accessories, though, before I do that. And then we'll get out of here, because I think if you like figure Obscura stuff, if you like things that are unique, if you want a Hindu god on your chest, like your, what was I talking about? Your dresser, I meant. I think you're already probably going to pick this up. He is very beautiful. Let's look at the accessories, and then we'll get out of here. Get this beautiful Mr. T-like, you know, it's a bunch of chains sculpted together. So it's all kind of seamless and fits the figure really nice. You get the back piece that plugs into the back that's also well sculpted. Looks beautiful. You get, I didn't have this on in the first photo. I thought maybe this was a belt, but he's way too thin for that. I guess it's another necklace or go around that neck. You get, I don't know what this is called. Forgive me for my ignorance to this Hindu god, other than briefly reading the pamphlet they gave for him. I always thought he was like a Buddha character, just an elephant. A little rat that's very important to this guy. You get apples, bananas. He surrounds himself with fruit, grapes. I don't quite know what he's holding there. Looks like little dumplings. You get more necklaces. I think these came with, nope. Thought they maybe came with a snake dude I had. They are brand new. All kinds of bracelets. Another necklace. You get a few sets of hands. Here's the straight trunk. Like I said, 2 trunks. Extra hands. You get this sash or scarf that has a bendy wire in it. And you get this awesome axe. Here's a picture of everything together. A lot of stuff. You even get a booklet to brush you up on your Hindu gods. You get this also I didn't have this in the video. Get this nice backdrop, which is cool, but it's really high. So you got a big, I mean, it'll fit in a Detolf perfectly. Picks, showed you picks. What do I want to leave with? What do I want to leave with here? I would say, I'm telling you right now, I don't like these ankles. They're kind of loose. That is kind of loose for a fig. This is where you would want it with heavier toys. You go with the ratchet joints. You know what I mean? But he's standing up fine there. Let me bring in his cousin. One guy believes in peace, and his cousin, the poacher, you know, kind of believes in using a gun. Anyway, let me know what you think. This is on the Four Horsemen store right now. I don't believe he's sold out. I think it's a beautiful showpiece. Beautiful showpiece. Just might not be a fun action figure. And I want you to take care and have fun, because I'm going to go play some Oblivion, because that's really freaking fun. Take care.
Woo! Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah!